Udo Chialoma. This is Dada Ajane coming in from the Middle Passage. I just wanted to give a brief testimony of my experiences since being wholeheartedly and fully operating in Hebrewism. Now, for those of you who don't know just yet, the teachings of Hebrewism are taught through the ancient people mentioned in Isaiah 44:7 and also Isaiah 47:6 KJV. So listen closely to this next part here. So Hebrewism is taught through the priesthood of Ephraim. Okay, and these are the ancient bloodline of Aaron. Okay, the ancient bloodline of Aaron, or the arrows. So they are headed by the young priest, who is he? His Eminence El Isaiah, and he is the one that provides the unsealings of our records. Okay, this is everything from the truth of who we are, who we came from, where we came from. I mean, you have the basics of that where you get from other places, camp doctrine. Some individuals might look it up on Google and see, that we descend from slaves. Okay, that's on the surface, but I'm talking about the truth of these things. So in regard to our past, present, future, the laws, everything, but in their truest form. These things are provided to he through the Urim. Okay, and so under him, we have Ainsi, who is he's right hand, his second in command. Then we have Mama Gihon, who we call Mama G, and then we have Dada Chail, who you'll hear me mention quite a bit through my testimony, but she's the coordinator over all Diaspora. So you can kind of get an idea now where these people come in that I'm going to mention, these elders, as I'm talking. And just a quick backstory. I was born and raised in Christianity, and I've seen doctrine or experienced doctrine from Seventh-day Adventists, Sabbatarianism, and then Judaism back in around early 2015. And thankfully, under Chukwu's grace, that's when he had me come across Mama G. And I remember I greeted her Shalom, and she said Chialoma. And I remember asking her what that meant, and she told me that it meant peace of the Chi, which means God of paradise. And that was enough to get me interested right there. So from then I asked her other questions about who we were. She told me that us blacks in America were actually the children of stolen Igbos brought to the Americas and sold as slaves. And my mind was blown with that. I asked more questions. And she ended up telling me the Almighty Creator's ancient name being Chukwu or Yuku, so CHWH or YHWH. And I asked her about the name I was using, which was one of the abomination names. And she went further into explain to me how that wasn't his name, what I had been saying. So since that point, I had never gone back to saying Shalom, and I had never gone back to calling the Almighty by that abomination that I was calling him by. So just from changing those two things, I had noticed, period, already, there was a change within me, and even the way that I prayed and the way that I studied, it felt different, even just changing those two things. But since I had come across the Judaism first, I ended up falling further into that, since I was more comfortable in it already at that point, even though I kept using the Almighty Creator's ancient name and the ancient greeting. I entered a relationship within the Judaism, and it turned out to be a complete disaster, because I was drawn to the Hebrewism, and he was still operating in the Judaism, and that's what was going on in the home. Was the Judaism had taken over, so everything in my house was going wrong, and I reached the point where I was so broken and fed up with it, and I had contacted Mama G for advice, as I usually would here and there throughout the ordeal, and she told me that I had to realize that Chukwu called me and not this man who I had been putting before Chukwu. So I took that, I swallowed it, and I accepted it for what it was. So with what Mama G told me next is what started off the change in my life even more. So Mama G told me to contact Dada Chayo, who is the second Exodus coordinator for all Diaspora, under Nation of Hebrew, Israel, and Diaspora. So she said, tell her that I sent you, and I taught her everything you need to know. She said, listen to her, follow her, tell her everything, and she'll help you. So I said, okay, I'll do that. And I humbled myself as much as I knew how at that time, because I'm telling you right now, I was not ready. I wasn't ready for Dada Chayo. But I humbled myself, like I said, and I followed Mama G's instructions. And I contacted Dada Chayo and told her everything. I told her all my business. So she listened, she asked me some questions, and she analyzed that, and then she, responded accordingly. She acted accordingly. And that's when she began to teach me Hebrewism. And next she told me, you're going to have to get that mess out of your house. You have got to separate from that Judaism and anything that is against Chukwu in Hebrewism. So first thing she taught me was how to separate from the Judaism and my false marriage, or my marriage that being invalid, which made it false. So she taught me how to begin putting Chukwu first. So I had to cut out the abomination that was going on in my house. So when I tell you, soon as I did that, soon as I was able to separate myself from those falsehoods, the blessings that started to come, it seemed like they just came out of nowhere. Literally 2 or 3 days later, I started seeing things happening, and it's almost as like they were being held back, and as soon as I fell in line, they were released to me. That's exactly how I felt. And with that, the monetary blessings just started coming in. So I started seeing things changing on my job with 3 raises that I received within 1 year. Usually we would see 1 raise for sure, possibly 2. But this particular year, which was nearly over already, actually it was a little past the mid-year, I received 3 raises. And they were not small amounts either. And then there was a promotion that I received to a better job position, also paying more. So there was an increase in my pay with that. Also, there was a $200 check that a bank that I had previously used said that they owed me. They sent me in the mail, and I called them about it because I didn't believe that it was legit. So I called them about it, and they said that they owed me that from a previous account that I had closed with them months before. So there was that. There was a $2,000 cash benefit that I received also from a previous employer who had been trying to contact me for years. I had left this job 8 years prior, and they had all of a sudden caught up with me to give me this $2,000 that they owed me, that I had earned while I was at the job. And it just happened to come right after I gave myself back to Chukwu in Hebrewism and fully and wholeheartedly decided and made the decision to serve Chukwu first and foremost, and only Chukwu. And then from there, more teachings, more things that I've learned from Dada Chael during that time was how to make my vow to Chukwu, how it works. Had it not been for her, I wouldn't have known about a vow at all. I've never heard of it. So she told me about the vow, and I was able to make my vow and receive something back in return from Chukwu. And she helped me do that, and I saw the return from that. It happened not long after I completed the vow to Chukwu. So I was grateful for that, because that, and also that blew my mind, of course, because to have a prayer answered is something that, you know, I wasn't used to. So to see that actually worked, of course, that increased my faith and my believing factor to help get me to the no part. So Dada Chael helped me with my taxes. She has great knowledge about finances and things like that. So she was able to, she did my taxes for free, and she still does do my taxes. And so I'm blessed to still have her. She also helped me get some tax money back that I was unable to get during the whole false marriage, because they were holding it from me because of a particular reason that was out of my control. But she was able to help me get that back. She taught me how to keep the Sibatha correctly. That was a big thing there, because a lot of our people, like me at that time, when I was in Judaism, had no idea that I was violating the Sibatha command just by leaving my home, going to congregate and fellowship with other Hebrews. I had no idea. And there's so many of our people doing that, and they have no idea that they're breaking the Sibatha law. They're not keeping it, they're breaking it by doing that. So I'm thankful for that. I learned from her the correct way to pray. As I just said, in Judaism, many of our people don't even know these things. They don't know that there are secrets to prayer. You can't just say a prayer and you know, like they say, just you know, put the words out there. You better say it and claim it. Those type of things. You can't do that. You can't do that. There's a structure to our whole culture. There's secrets involved with Hebrewism, period, which she's shared with me a lot of the secrets that go along with Hebrewism since I've been involved and learning from her. I've learned the importance of tithing from her. She showed me correctly how to tithe, where to tithe to, so that I receive those monetary blessings as well, those increases through tithing. And giving offering also, because I didn't know that before. I was just kind of willy-nilly giving my money to a church just to say that, okay, I'm giving my 10% at least, you know. So I since I was doing it wrong, so it was wholeheartedly being done, but what was the point? It was going to the wrong place, to the wrong people, which it it was all wrong. So I'm glad that I know how to tithe correctly. I'm able to receive the blessings from that, because a lot of our people don't know that as well. They don't know how important it is, and that's where a lot of their blessings are missing from. That's why a lot of their blessings are missing, because they're not tithing. And if they are tithing, they're tithing to the wrong place, the wrong people. So that's a big part of what I've learned from Dada Chayo. She also helped me to leave Babylon, and not just physically, but in the mental sense. I've been able to learn from her how to mentally get my mind corrected to where I'm able to go further in Hebrewism and leave the whole mindset of how I used to think, the average way that an American Black thinks, how we were raised to think. So I was able to separate my thoughts, and I'm not 100%, but I'm a lot better than I was, because leaving Babylon is a mindset. You have to leave Babylon mentally before you can leave physically first, but what's the point if you still have the thinking of Babylon? You're just gonna taint everything around you when you leave. So with that, I was able to leave Babylon, and hence the reason why I'm here in the Middle Passage. So I'm grateful and I'm thankful for Dada Chayo's help there. Also with the whole process that she helped with our passports. There was no issues with receiving those. She did all the footwork and looking for our home, going to look at them to make sure everything was okay before we arrived. She sent me videos. Sometimes she would call me on live to walk through the place so I could see it. Just things like that. Booking our flights. I didn't have to worry about anything. She did everything financially for me, almost like having a personal accountant. But it was kind of surreal, because I don't even have family that would do a lot of the things that she's done without asking for anything in return. So I've gone through my migration plan with her, which she put together in order for us to get here. She gave me a list of what we would need before, during, and after migration. So that went smoother. I'm not sure how it would have went if it would have been left up to me. Chukwu has also blessed other members of my household as well with increases on their jobs, higher paying job positions, just from them being a part of my household. So that's another thing. People can reap blessings for being a part of your household if you're under Hebrewism and keeping Chukwu's laws correctly. Dada Chayo also helped me start my own business. I had thought about it before, but I never would have gone to the extent to do it. If you're a real person, and if you're real with yourself, which a lot of our people aren't, you will be able to admit we are procrastinators. The majority of Black folks procrastinate. We think about doing things, but we never make the necessary steps to get them done. I would have never made those necessary steps to be a business owner. I just wouldn't have, and I know it. So even now, Dada Chayo's helping me make kingdom moves, buying property, building wealth for my family, making good investments and lasting investments, and they're all legitimate. So there's no funny business going on. Nothing is iffy or wishy-washy. She thoroughly looks into things first. She don't have you do anything that she wouldn't do herself. So you can be comfortable in knowing that she already has done this, or she's doing it herself currently. So I've learned business moves from her. I'm learning also how to properly raise my children. There's a certain way, a certain order to raising children. I've just raised mine the same way I was raised, thinking I was doing the right thing. But of course, we were missing some things in our own upbringing in America. So naturally, that would be passed on from us to our children. So learning Hebrewism now, I was able to see what Dada Child was saying as far as allowing effeminate behaviors, especially with male children. Unknowingly, them being emotional and things like that. So my children now are more responsible. They listen better. They are less emotional. They take more initiative in the things that they do or things that need to be done. They even at their young ages, they're learning how not to procrastinate and how to be leaders, not followers. My children are even starting their own business and things like that. So they're even more respectful now. I had always gotten compliments about my children in Babylon, but now they earn it, and it's a good feeling in knowing that I'm bringing them up now in the way that they should go according to Scripture. So they're maturing very well in the teachings of Hebrewism under Dada Child and the unsealings of the priesthood, and I'm so thankful for that. Hebrewism has definitely given them a sense of integrity and pride, knowing who they are now, definitely in truth. They're consistently learning and building that confidence in truth. Because another thing is concerning my children. I think I mentioned earlier that I brought them up the way that my parents brought me up. And, those of us who are a certain age, our parents didn't play. To us, our parents didn't play. And so we tend to bring our children up that same way with, the same whoopings, the punishments or whatnot that we got. But we don't realize that even that was not right. Even that was watered down. So one of the ways that Dada Child had told me as far as disciplining my children was bringing that military style of discipline, drop and give me 20 push-ups or 30 sit-ups and things like that. So with my male children, that is what I started to do, and it works. I started seeing results with them, and that is my main go-to as far as discipline is concerned. I see it working, and not only is it helping them to get in line, but also physically it's making them stronger. So you see these things if you can just bring yourself down to accept advice and to accept these orders, because my thing was before I didn't have this soldier mindset. I'm still not 100% there, but that's where I want to be. So I'm working toward getting my mind there 100%. But my go-to phrase to Dada Child used to be, I'm not a soldier. I've never been to the military. I don't have that kind of thing in me to be a soldier. But she explained it to me time and time again. You have to be a soldier for Chukwu. And we look at things carnally and in a literal fashion. And she wasn't telling me to be a soldier for her. She was telling me to be a soldier for Chukwu, to change my mindset for Chukwu. And if there's anything I'm willing to do, it's to change for Chukwu. Yes, I want salvation. Yes, I want salvation for my children. But I want to please Chukwu in everything. So that, thinking that way, I'm doing this for Chukwu and for our people, for our kingdom. It's bigger than me being pissed off that my elder ordered me to do something and I don't want to do it type stuff, you know. So we have to get past those type of things. We can't be upset and allow these minuscule things to keep us from the bigger picture, from seeing the bigger picture. We can't do it. So now I'm like, oh yeah, I'll be a soldier for Chukwu. And like I said, I'm working toward that. I will be at 100% because that's what I desire to be. And we have to change our mindsets, and we need that mental, military, spirituality type thinking, spiritual military mindset. So I'm on my way there. But yeah, my children, they've even seen a change in themselves. So, and that's something for them to be proud of about themselves. It's, you know, also me being proud of them. So, and them receiving, you know, rewards and being rewarded by Chukwu for looking at themselves also, even in their young ages. So these things, like I said earlier, you'll see changes and you'll see results. A few other things I'm learning also from Dada Chael in Hebrewism is how to redeem my children back to Chukwu. They can't do their Myosa yet, their repentance and confession ritual until a certain age. So until then, I'm able to redeem them back. To my knowledge of Hebrewism has also increased. A lot of things I didn't know before that I'm awakening to now with her help, of course, because she's my teacher. So I've learned all these things from her. A lot more knowledge has come to me, and I'm able to share the knowledge that she gives with me once I understand it, with my children, with others who haven't yet awakened to Hebrewism. So I'm able to share Chukwu's word with others because of the instructions that I'm receiving. I've been highly inspired by Dada Chael to do music and get back to writing and singing. That's something I did in Babylon. I was a singer and a songwriter, spoken word poet, and I didn't think I was going to continue in the poetry, but I didn't think there would be any room for using singing, you know, or songwriting. And I don't know why. I just had decided to hang that up, you know, in Hebrewism. But she said, no, any gift that Chukwu gave you can be used in the kingdom, can be used for kingdom purposes. We can use it. So here I am doing music again. My children have even started taking up music and making beats for Chukwu songs. My two youngest have done songs also, and they enjoy it. And so they're exploring different gifts and talents also, because they've been inspired and encouraged by Dada Chael also. Seeing your children grow, seeing things come to fruition in your household, the changes, you see the proof of Hebrewism right in front of your face. I'm no longer distracted, you know, like a lot of people in Babylon are distracted with the garbage that goes on daily, weekly, monthly, and I don't have that anymore. I don't have to worry about a lot of those things that go on. I was so stressed out with grocery shopping in Babylon, you know, because we were spending an extra hour in the store reading labels because you know the poisons and GMOs and pork product that they were putting in everything in the food to keep us defiled. So I don't have to deal with that anymore, and I'm so thankful. Even my children were like, "Oh, remember when we used to have to read the labels on this and on that?" But it's a peace of mind knowing that we don't have to do that here anymore. I kind of would say that this next thing that I'm going to mention is my biggest blessing that I've received so far. I would have to say that it is my biggest, because I wouldn't be forgiven. I would still be a sinner. So being able to complete my Nyosa, and of course, this is especially with the help of Dada Chaya. I would not have made it through my Nyosa without her, because I was so frustrated at one point, and I was almost finished, but I was so frustrated at one point that I was going to give up, and she talked to me. She was patient with me in that frustrated moment, and was able to pull me back, and I made a better decision, not put myself in the position to have wasted her time and mine, and the time of the priesthood or anyone else. So I'm thankful to have made it through that, and also just being a woman and her being an example for me and showing me how to keep myself covered and dress appropriately and things like that. We need that. We need people to be hard with us. We need to change our mindsets. We need, somewhat we need the love, but we need the harshness more because we lost our order. So we have to humble ourselves and be obedient, and in order to get ourselves and our children, our families back in our rightful place. So I know I've talked quite a bit, so I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. And believe me, there is more. There is more that I'm not saying on here, but there is a need for order, and we have to get back to that. We have to absolutely get back to the order of things and how and where we're supposed to be. So if anyone who is listening, I pray that some words that I've said in my testimony has reached ears that needed to hear them. And I just pray that Chukwu's work continues in this awakening. And I'm so thankful to the priesthood of Ephraim, he and Inksy and Mama G and Dada Chayo. Once again, I'm so thankful for Dada Chayo. Oh my goodness, I really can't enough of what she has done and what she means to me, because like I said, I don't have that in my own family. So I'm thankful to Chukwu for her. May you all be blessed, everyone who's listening to this, and consider humbling yourselves and remaining obedient and staying the course, because you'll receive your reward in the end. You reach that higher, ultimate level of spirituality. Dalu to the priesthood of Ephraim, His Eminence El Dizela, Nzi, Mama G, and Dada Chayo. May Chukwu Okike Abiyama, the almighty Chi of Abram, continue to bless each and every one of you for your works in Hebrewism, not only awakening his people, but awakening the entire world. Amen. Shalom.
NOHIID presents Waking Up.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to Chukwu Okike Abiyama for waking me up.
Thank you for awakening. You woke me up, yeah. Value for everything. Thank you for awakening. You woke me up, yeah.
I'm waking up, Chuka woke me up. Alarm clock going off, 6:01. Breaking my fast, I joku. Learning more and more, the Chuka I adore, yeah. Keeping it lost, Chuka shit my life. Tryna become an intellect and live right, yeah. Get out of Babylon, mentally and physically. And hit the prophecies.
Thank you for everything. Value for awakening, yeah. Cause you woke me up, yeah. Value for everything. Thank you for awakening, yeah. Cause you woke me up, yeah.
I get commands now, like never before. Bad habits that I had, I don't do no more. We sign Decalogue every day, my eyes open. Trying to be part of the king, yeah, so I'm open. Be obedient and respect my parents, so I can live long in Chuka's blessings. I was lost, and Chuka found me. He helped me see, and now his word is all around me. I'm never turning back from this ancient path. This is serious, I ain't delirious. My plan is to serve Chuka for eternity, cause that's who I am, my true identity.
Thank you for everything. Value for awakening, yeah. Cause you woke me up, yeah. And I am forever thankful. You chose me now and it's amazing. There's so many things that you showed me, yeah. And I am forever thankful. You chose me now and it's amazing. There's so many things that you showed me.
Brought to you by NOHIID, Raising Up Young Lions.
All praises to Chuka Okike Abiyama. Amen.